Another win for Claressa Shields. You know, it's become apparent with these Claressa Shields fights now. Claressa Shields obviously now campaigning as a heavyweight, not really a heavyweight, 175 pounds, but it is what it is. It's now become the Claressa Shields show. So unless they can get Claressa in with a dance partner that we all know, it's just a case of we're tuning in for Claressa as opposed to for Claressa versus question mark. And, you know, she had the ring walk. She's been doing all the rounds on social media, going to all these big interview platforms. It's almost very reminiscent of Mike Tyson in the early days where it was literally just you tune in to see Mike Tyson knock someone out. We're tuning in now for Claressa as opposed to Claressa versus X.
Yeah, this is a really difficult subject to broach for me because it's so easy to be critical of the lack of or the dearth of opponents. But I do agree. I think there's something turgid about her career. After the Savannah Marshall challenge, obviously Sav is the only person to have beaten her in the amateurs. It feels like, as you say, Lanny Daniels, two of the judges gave it 8-2 in rounds. I mean, I've watched the fight. She absolutely battered her for 10 rounds, chased her around the ring from pillar to post. I hate to use this word, but I said turgid. It's almost boring watching her fight now because she doesn't have extreme power. She batters her opponent because she's so much better than them. She's gone up 5 weight divisions and is undisputed at heavyweight. Lanny Daniels was just not on the same level. The problem for her is she doesn't have the dance partners. I love the fact that Layla Ali has been calling her out. She should have let Layla Ali in the ring in spite of the fact that Layla's in her 40s. It's such a shame, Eddie, that Layla Ali, I covered the very beginning of her career when she fought Jackie Frazier Lyde, the daughter of Joe Frazier. They called it Ali Frazier 4 at the time. I've told you about it before. That would have been a great fight because she was a genuine 12-stone person, Layla Ali. You'll have met her. She's a big person. There's no one out there. And for that reason, that's why Serrano and Taylor, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, are above her in the pound-for-pound rankings, in my view.
Yeah, I almost feel sorry for her because when you look at her skills, she has the skills to clearly be the pound-for-pound number one. But in terms of opponents, you are correct. I mean, Katie's opponents are clear. There are calls for Shadesha Green, potentially. Franchon Cruz Dezern, although we've seen it before. Yeah, this is the issue, right? If Savannah won, then you could have done Savannah, Claressa. I'm almost surprised there's not a Claressa coming out of the Olympics. Like, who is the Claressa from the last 2 Olympics that could challenge Claressa? It's like, what's happened to American female boxing in terms of finding that next superstar?
Well, they aren't there, and if you recall, it's been flyweight, lightweight, middleweight. So she won consecutively at middleweight as 17 and 21 in London and Rio. She's come out of herself. She's an amazing figure. I watched a movie on her recently, which was fantastic. Her growing up in Flint, Michigan. But it's almost like she's in the wrong time. I mean, if a Christy Martin had been around, if she, like you say, she's a young woman. She wants twins, doesn't she? She's about to have kids. She's choosing roundabout now to have kids. And she reminds me of the time of Layla Ali, Mia St. John, Christy Martin. Even if Jane Couch would have been around to give her a war, she needs someone to have a war with, and it's not going to be Savannah. I mean, Savannah, like you say, Shadesha Green beat Savannah, kind of. I wasn't sure about that on the scoring on the night, to be honest. It was a very close fight, but it's a difficult one with Claressa. She is clearly a talent. She's marketed herself brilliantly. I love it that she calls herself the GOAT, but I'm not sure it's easy for us all to agree that she is the GOAT. She is technically, in terms of the belts and the undisputed, 3 weight divisions? I think it is. I mean, it could be 5. She's good enough to be undisputed in 5, but there's such a narrow talent pool, a shallow talent pool around her. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also do wonder now that she does fight above 170 pounds, where there was some talk before about her getting back to 154. I think she's fought too many times in the higher weight classes to even lose the extra 20 pounds to come back down to potentially maybe fight a Lauren Price or someone. Or there's been talk about Michaela Maya. I think she's just too big to fight these ladies now. And I just don't think, I mean, she's not old at all. She's actually still quite young, Claressa, but I just don't think she can even make the 154-pound limit to have these bigger
She's
fights than
very
she's having right
unfortunate.
now against
Yeah, she's
people we
very
know.
unfortunate, like you say, being
Yeah.
in America at the moment, where I know that Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano have had very, very big nights there, but I think there's more support. You look at the Lionesses in football, just to diverge slightly, you look at the support for women's sport in the UK at the moment, and which includes boxing, and there's much more resonance. There's much more of a growth uh, in women's sport, in following women's sport, than there is in America. You look at Ellie Scotney's performance the other day. Loads of blokes have said to me, "I want to watch Ellie Scotney again," and that's what you want. That's what Claressa's missing. If she had an Amanda Serrano type opponent, a Katie Taylor type opponent, and could have had a trilogy, you could have got more people watching the sport. And I just want to be clear about this. What I'm saying is, at the moment, generically, I think a lot of men like to watch Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor as well because of their exciting styles, as well as women, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. It'll be interesting to see what Claressa does next in terms of who potentially she could be fighting. It'd be interesting to see if she does move to MVP Promotions. I do believe that
It
was her
was,
final fight with
yeah.
Dimitri Salita. So it'd be interesting to see what kind of career path she takes next. In terms of world champions, is it a concern? And, you know, you can be honest and say absolutely not, Ade, it doesn't matter. Uh, British world champions, male world champions, in the UK as it stands at the moment, in terms of active fighters, we only have Nick Ball. Got one.
Yeah, but we've got a group of heavyweights who are fascinating for the public. We've got Hamza Shiraz in the super middleweight division, who could go up to light heavyweight. We've got um, a lot of matchups. I didn't mention many more people there, did I? But there's a lot of interest in the sport. Conor Benn and Chris Eubank. There's a lot going on, and it doesn't always matter about having world champions. World champions come and go. I mean, I remember the time when Joe Calzaghe and Ricky Hatton were coming to the end, and people were going, "Where are we going to get our new stars from?" But we still had Amir Khan and Carl Froch come through, and then
Yeah.
you get more, and then Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua came through, and there's always a time. I think we've got more regionally followed fighters. We've got more provincially followed fighters. We've got good cards going. Even if you take Nathan Heaney in Stoke, you know, there's fighters with followings everywhere, and we've got big stadium fights going on as well. So I wouldn't worry about it in the slightest.
Okay. I don't normally disagree with you, but my concern when you said we have sort of fighters in different regions, I look in Scotland right now. Josh Taylor's just called it quits. Manchester has, yes, some fighters. The biggest one maybe being Jack Cattrall. Is Jack got maybe a
Yeah,
couple
but you've
left?
got Pat
Couple of
Brown
big
coming
ones left.
through. You've got Dave Allen's in Doncaster. People are fascinated by him at the moment. There's, and then you've got all those heavyweights. I say all those heavyweights. You've got the Tyson Furies, the Anthony Joshuas. I know they're coming to the end, but you've got the Fabio Wardleys, the David Adeleye, the Solomon Dakers was on that card the other night. There's the Daniel Dubois. Obviously, where does he go from here? We've got Derek Chisora, Dillian White, Moses Itauma. I don't think we're short of characters and personalities and people with potential. Moses Itauma, for one.
All right, just to add to what happened on the weekend as well, very quickly, Xander Zayas became the youngest active world champion, age 22. Congratulations to him winning the WBO light middleweight title. It was a title held by Sebastian Fundora, who vacated to fight Tim Tszyu. So I hope that we are going to get a case of Sebastian Fundora saying, I want my belt back. And we get Xander Zayas versus Sebastian Fundora. Big fight for American boxing. All right, you're listening to Find It Extra on talkSPORT 2. Up next, we're going to get the latest. I can't wait to get into this from the heavyweight division, with the dust still settling on Alexander Usyk's big win over Daniel Dubois. Welcome back. You're listening to Find It Extra on talkSPORT 2. Adi Oladipo, the great Gareth Davies, who's in Thailand. Boxing event there. I mean, what is there a big boxing event? Are you just having fun, enjoying a holiday, a bit of downtime?
Went to the fight shop. I mean, what does this mean? Yut in Thai means war. And they make all Tyson Fury stuff. I went to visit the factory, had a bit of downtime. Time to get away, time to enjoy the weather, my friend.
Agreed. No, agreed. I mean, you're a busy man. I think you do a lot for boxing. I think it is. You do have to pick the times to press pause, and I think this is a very good time to press pause before we go big for Dillian Whyte, Moses the Talma fight week coming up. All right, let's continue this fallout, because it is continuing between Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois. Obviously, Alexander Usyk getting the job done. Daniel Dubois, by some, being called a quitter again. Didn't they learn their lesson over the Joe Joyce debacle? Some people, boxers, have said he swallowed it. Some people have said he's not built for this. I mean, when you hear this, does it not surprise you, considering again that we saw a man that supposedly did all those things against Joe Joyce, and he proved us wrong by having the run he had? Are we just using the wrong language? Should people know better?
Well, I think I kind of touched on it earlier and kind of ahead of time of this section, but I think it's very easy to use the word quit and quitter. I think that's a fighter's code, and I think that's a code they can use. I think they have every right to describe someone as a quitter and how they see it and give their opinions. With Daniel, I think he lives to fight another day. I watched Talk Boxing on Monday, and there were some ludicrous notions on that show about the Anthony Joshua would watch that and get some succor, some joy out of the fact that he had a great second fight with Alexander Usyk, but Daniel Dubois didn't. Styles make fights. Daniel Dubois is a wrecking.
Was that what was said? Was that what was said on the show?
There was the suggestion that I think there's I think there were a lot of things said. I mean, it was a great panel, to be honest. A lot of people with very different views. You know, you got people who are very supportive, as you said, the AJ Club, and I do get it with the AJ Club, and I don't think he gets enough praise, because AJ has never been and could not be labelled a quitter. He fights till he is knocked out and he cannot move. We saw that against Andy Ruiz. We saw it against Alexander Usyk in the first fight. We saw it against Daniel Dubois. He kept getting up and going. And there's no question that his heart gets broken. He just gets stopped. I think the question marks around Daniel Dubois are style of fighter. Now, and this begs the question about how great Alexander Usyk is or not. And I think even though we only have 8 fights with him at heavyweight, you still have to look at how he's handled everyone. Tyson Fury is clearly the second best boxer of the era. And you speak to anyone, as you do and I do, outside the realms of public opinion, and every fighter will tell you how difficult he is to spar, how difficult he is to fight, and look what Usyk did for 24 rounds against him. Anthony Joshua is a destroyer. That's how he fights. Daniel Dubois is a destroyer. Fabio Wardley is the Deontay Wilder of British boxing. He can rescue it with a dog in him. Derek Chisora is a rumbustious and bulliant type fighter who's got very strong in his late 30s. These are all the different styles of fighters. For me, to answer the question about Daniel Dubois, he can come again. And I think because he lost and the way he lost, there was more focus on the pre-fight party, which had he won, let's say, and I never picked him to win, I didn't think he was going to win, that if he had won, everyone would have said the party worked for him. The party was there when he fought Anthony Joshua. It worked for him, didn't it? You know?
Okay. With regards to what next for Alexander Usyk, the WBO have ordered a Joseph Parker fight. I think many, I'd be surprised if there's anyone that doesn't think Joseph Parker's deserving of it. I guess the question to you then is not a case of who's deserving. It's who will get the fight. Riyadh Season tweeted, or at least Ring Magazine tweeted a statement from Riyadh Season saying that Riyadh Season and Seller are not interested in making a fight between Alexander Usyk and Joseph Parker. Does Joseph Parker get the fight against Alexander Usyk? Gut feeling?
Gut feeling is no, actually. It's a very, very confused landscape right now. And normally I can see the clarity, and I've spoken to people behind the scenes, but there are a lot of mixed metaphors and confusing signals, very confusing smoke signals being put out. And that includes Fury and Joshua in this equation as well, by the way, because you've got Turki Al-Sheikh talking about Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, even though behind the scenes, my understanding was there were talks going on for Joshua and Fury to fight each other, and Fury and Usyk to fight each other next year. The logical steps with all of that were Parker could fight him now. That tweet from Riyadh Season confused the issue in my view as well, because I think Usyk is under contract with Riyadh Season as well. So the logical thing, one of the biggest commercial fights, whether people like it or not, is still a third fight between Fury and Usyk. Yeah, and Fury would take that now in a heartbeat, in my view, rather than the Joshua fight, because he's got more to gain and less to lose by fighting Usyk again than fighting Joshua. Parker and Kabayel, we could see Usyk vacate 2 belts even. We could see Parker and Kabayel in a unification for 2 belts even. That's a fight that should have flaming happened already, and we may end up blooming getting it in the next few months. Parker could fight Chisora. Chisora probably should have fought White. White's about to fight Itauma, and with all due respect to Dillian, if Moses is as good as we think he is, he's going to be very, very good against him. There's also that in the equation, which we need to talk about as part of this, because Turki Al-Sheikh put on X during Dubois, or just at the end of Dubois and Usyk Dubois, that he'd like to see Moses Itauma fight Usyk. Now, here's a question for you, right? It's too early for Itauma. The end of next year will probably be too late for Usyk, yeah? In my view, in that fight. But if Itauma does a number on Dillian White and Turki Al-Sheikh says, I'll underwrite this fight, Usyk, you get 50 million for it. Moses, you get 25 million. Do you not take it at the age of 20? Okay.
No, I think it ruins you. I think it ruins you for longevity. I think he's. I could go as many as saying 4 or 5 fights away from Alexander Usyk. Yeah, maybe 3, but then by that 3, then Usyk will be gone. Exactly. I don't see the rush to want to make the Usyk fight for Itauma. If I'm Itauma and his matchmakers, so who looks after him, Francis, then you just wait for everyone to go. I mean, you don't have to fight Fury and AJ and Usyk and Bakoli and all the. You literally can just sit up and just. And wait
right
for them
now,
to
Eddie,
go.
I think Usyk old man's him.
Oh yeah, just everything him. We're talking about Usyk being one of the greatest fighters ever live, and he's still got so much left in the tank as far as I'm concerned. I think Moses Itauma is very good, but it's still very much. I think you would have watched thousands of boxers that you thought, okay, we're going to be the next thing, and they step up one level, and all of a sudden they get found out a little bit. So I don't know. I love Itauma, but I don't like the idea of. I think what's happening in boxing, I think we saw it with Jared Anderson versus Bakoli. You can't kill these fighters early. And who knows, Jared Anderson didn't look great in his fight after the Bakoli defeat. So I would rather Itauma stay away. That being said, Itauma is ranked number 2, I think, with the WBO. So we could be getting Itauma versus Parker.
Great fight. That's a great fight as well. And let's also, we can't write Dillian off because, heavyweights have a habit of upsetting the apple cart as well. And you mentioned Bacoli there. Dubois and Bacoli is a great fight. Joshua and Bacoli's a great fight. There's lots of Wardley and Bacoli's a great fight. Wardley and Dubois is a great fight. There's so many great permutations there for us yet to have. I know this section will end eventually. That debate about how great Usyk is a really interesting one for me. As I say, I spent a day while I was away writing a piece about Usyk and where he belongs and why he's so great. Because I thought that was almost a punch-perfect performance. Did I say to you last week, he reminded me of watching Mayweather live in the sense that his radar for danger and the fear factor inside his body created the super ego in him, his super id, to produce a performance of brilliance, of total focus. Yeah. And I think...
Yeah. Did you hear Duke McKenzie when Duke yesterday? I think you said you watched a bit of the Talk Boxing, and Duke said, "Yeah, he's a top 20 heavyweight."
He's I
was like, "Come on, Duke, stop it! Top 20, stop it!"
He's clearly a top 20 heavyweight.
Yeah,
he's clearly a top 10 heavyweight for me. I think we had this chat last week. I know that the problems are people will cite the fact that some of the great heavyweights had different eras where the depth of the heavyweights they fought, the quality of opponents was greater. And he's only had 8 fights, but
you know what it is. Sorry to cut across you. I actually think that depth of the heavyweight thing annoys me because I think you remove Usyk from this era of heavyweights. I think it's such a competitive heavyweight era where a lot of people could chin a lot of people and it'll be exciting. I mean, you could randomly have, as you say, Bacoli versus Dubois, Fabio Wardley versus Italma. I mean, AJ could go in against Ruiz again. Like the Jarrell Miller's floating around. There are so many heavyweight matchups. It's just because you have one man ruling it doesn't mean it's a weak era. It's actually very competitive.
And I liked what Roy Jones Jr. said about Usyk earlier this week. I don't know if you saw that, where he said the way Usyk at cruiserweight dealt with Gassiev, who was a very, very big puncher, a heavyweight style puncher. I think that the fight that fascinates me was Holyfield and Usyk, and how Usyk might have been able to deal with the dirty style boxing of Evander Holyfield, the use of the head, the clinch, how he'd keep him off. But I think when you look at Usyk's footwork, and the fact he's a southpaw heavyweight, and many of these top 10, top 15 were not southpaws, you've got to look at. You don't have to look. You can say whatever you want. People think I've ranked him too highly. I've got him at number 7, as you know, which we discussed last week. I think he clearly belongs in the top 10 based on what he's capable of doing. Make no bones about it. I thought Eddie Hearn made a great analysis of this last week. Usyk sensed the danger. We had this chat before the fight, but off air. You could work out in the end he was 2 steps ahead of Dubois. He knew he was going to advance. He jumped into the space. He jumped into the centre of the ring. He controlled the fight. He's just brilliant. And he's brilliant as a sports star. He's brilliant as a social and political figure. There's so many qualities that make him a great champion and a great warrior and a great fighter.
He is. We've heard Tyson Fury campaign for the Alexander Usyk fight. I've seen videos of Martin Bacoli saying he wants a fight. Joseph Parker's been speaking. As you saw, Derek Chisora tried to get in the ring. Moses Italma fights Dillian White. Fabio Wardley looks like he's going to fight the winner of Hunter versus Pulev. The one person we've not heard anything from is Mr. Anthony Joshua, who I believe is still partying in Mykonos. What's the plan here for AJ? Like, what is it? I mean, Spencer Oliver said Tony Yoka yesterday. I say yesterday, this has been filmed on Tuesday. Like, Tony Yoka
doesn't do a lot for him, but if it's a keeping him warm fight, again, Yoka's faded since winning Olympic gold in Rio and not really been a contender. It is two Olympians against each other. Obviously, he's in the AJ WhatsApp group. He was in the Don Charles school of Dubois would do it against Usyk as well. And I'm enjoying AJ rapping in Mykonos anyway, definitely. I think he was there at Wembley in a box. You might have been you that told me. Apparently he was there.
I think he might have been, yeah. I think he might have been.
I just wish he wasn't so quiet. I just wish he wasn't so quiet. I do not know. We do not know what's going on with him. And that is the truth. You can't get anything out of his team.
Yeah.
Eddie's very quiet about him. 1 minute, Eddie's working behind the scenes with him and on him, and they're going to have a fight. The next minute, it just goes completely quiet. Will he fight Jake Paul? I don't think so. I don't think it should be licensed anywhere in the world, Eddie, because it's a step too far or 2 steps too far, 39 steps too far, if you like. It shouldn't be allowed. It's just dangerous.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, and I say this as someone that might be working on such event if it happens, but there's no way AJ should be in the ring with Jake Paul. I mean, what are we doing? How much money is too much money? Everyone says, yeah, but you can make hundreds of millions. They've both got hundreds of millions. Like, what this is way too far. I understand Jake Paul wanting to fight smaller guys. Him fighting an 18-stone AJ who's allowed to punch him with full force shouldn't be sanctioned, shouldn't be allowed. And I think it's actually just quite dangerous.
Very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Boxing. Yeah. This is the sport, though, that we love and enjoy. Anything can happen. All right, you're listening to Find Extra on talkSPORT 2. Up next, we're going to discuss some worrying news surrounding Galal Yafai's most recent opponent, and we're going to round up the best of the rest from around boxing as well. Welcome back. You're listening to Find Extra on talkSPORT 2. Adi Oladipo, Gareth Davies. All right, let's talk about a subject I hate talking about when it comes to steroids in boxing, but it's just a subject that's not going away. Every time you think boxing has somehow put a lid on it, another case pops up. With Jaime Munguia a few weeks back. Let's not forget that one against Bruno Soras. He obviously has denied it vehemently. It wasn't me, it was someone else. And most recently, we had Francisco Rodriguez, who fought Galal Yafai, won the fight, put a bit of a beating on Galal Yafai, which I guess is a bigger conversation. He's had his positive test overturned. Also, the result has been nullified, no contest. But he's been able to prove to VADA, is it UCAD, that whatever he put down on his list of substances he was taking before the fight, he's been able to prove that one of these substances did contain the substance that he was basically found to have tested positive for. So it's been sort of put down as a no contest, and the WBC have ordered that Francisco Rodriguez actually fight Galal Yafai again. I think the whole thing's a bit of a mess, and I can't make sense of it.
No, I agree with you. There's a transparency about this one for once, but
true.
There's an illogicality around it in that, look, so he's got something in his body. I mean, on the night, like you say, the important things here are Galal Yafai was really overrun by Rodriguez on the night. It was horrible to watch. And I always thought Rodriguez would be a good test for him anyway. Very experienced campaigner, same age as Galal, but very tenacious, typically Mexican in that way, that comes forward and loves a war. And Galal never got going in the fight. I remember watching it from the opening round thinking, oh my God, this is not going well. And he was under pressure. And he took a very difficult fight. He had a very difficult time in the fight. Psychologically, it will have hammered him, the fact he lost, and then this came to light, the test. Then you go back to the other side of it, and Rodriguez is found to have this in his system, but as a reason why, and it was inopportune, it was unfortunate, it was a mistake, and a genuine mistake. The fight's been annulled and reordered. But does Galal really want to go through that again? I mean, not really, in my view.
No.
So no. It's a fine mess, is what it is. is like you say. This is
It's
the worst aspect of our sport. Really is.
yeah, it's the worst by far. Where a fighter, look, I hope Galal Yafai is okay. But again, I've seen fighters take beatings like that, and then it's not okay, and you wait to see how Galal Yafai is going to react in his next fight. Did that
Or they're
take
never the
something out of
same.
him? It always does in the lower
Or
weight classes. They're never the same. I agree. So I don't know how it benefits Galal going in there with the same guy again. I just think I just think it all needs to be looked at. You know, I've been screaming for a world governing body. For me, there's no benefit in saying someone's guilty after they've been in the ring with
yeah.
performance enhancing drugs. The idea is you catch them before they get in the ring, so they don't have to put a shellacking on someone. So the idea that Galal Yafai's, had someone kick the what out of him whilst on something, guilty or not guilty, is just what's wrong with this sport. It's there needs to be a way in which tests are done and they come back as quickly as possible, so you find out what someone's taken before
Yeah.
they get in the ring, so we know two fighters are entering the ring clean.
But the science is being beaten all the time by scenarios where people are cheating, and it's a bit like, I mean, there's another case at the moment. Dennis McCann just come out, um, and
Yeah,
talked about the fact that his case is completely wrong. We don't know all the detail yet, but he had certain substances apparently in him, allegedly in him, and now that's gone completely awry, and the testing body is going to be pulled apart over that. We don't know all the detail yet, but again, all it does is obfuscate and create more mystery and more confusion around, essentially, like you say, that the most important thing about the sport is that athletes are clean, because their bodies are their weapons, and um, it's an inherently dangerous sport. We don't want It's dangerous enough without people being enhanced physically when they fight, and it's heinous.
you,
So
you, you know sorry, Turkey and Riyadh season and Seller have pumped so much money into boxing in the last, it'll be nearly 2 years, right? Since the Fury and Garner fight. Was that
it was
October
October 23. Yeah.
2023, I think? Yeah, I would love them, and this isn't down to them. I think VADA do a good job as best as they can, and UCAD do a good job, and USADA to some extent. I'd love them to pump some money into thorough drug testing, like a separate agency, start again, and just
And do
really
life
go for this,
bans or
like really
10-year bans
tackle.
if someone's got it in them, or so that
Yes,
they're just
yes,
reduced from the sport. They're become persona non grata in the
completely.
sport.
I would even, the biggest thing that fighters hate is money taken out of their pocket, right? That's the biggest thing, right? That's the biggest. I'd even withhold purses until after drug tests. So you fail your drugs test, then you're getting nothing. You pass your drug test, fine. There's your money. Because I think fighters, once it hits them in the pocket, would stop taking drugs. I think no, because they know, well, we're not getting paid. And I think that would be a big problem. Like these little 6 month and year bans
And,
does
and and
nothing for
those
fighters.
tests that happen a couple of days before they fight, that come back retrospectively as well after fights, that's very confusing, and far from perfect, far from satisfactory, because you should be able to take the test on Friday and have the result on the Saturday morning. And if they have tested positive for something,
Fact.
then the fight can't go ahead. But that's really
That's
what should
simple.
happen, technically
That's simple.
and efficiently. That's what should happen.
Yeah. Okay. We wait to see again the outcome of this. The WBC have ordered that Galal Yafai fight Francisco Rodriguez again. We'll see. Galal was one step away from fighting for a world title, so we'll wait to see what happens. Where are you going to be September the 13th? Windsor Park or Vegas?
What for? Um,
Are you going to be at Windsor Park for Paddy
oh,
Donovan, Lewis
come on,
Crocker? Or are you going to be at
come on!
Vegas for Canelo
I've
Crawford?
got to be at
I'm
Terence
just asking. I
Crawford,
don't know. I don't
Saul
know. I
Canelo
mean,
Alvarez, my friend, definitely. You?
okay. Okay, it's going to be a big night. Um, I'm guessing Windsor Park, the Zone, Matchroom. I'm guessing Windsor Park. Obviously, Canelo Crawford's on Netflix, so I'm guessing Windsor. But I'm looking forward to it. I mean, no one makes a bigger racket than the Irish, and this is an all-Irish affair, and it's one that I think Donovan is going to win again, unless Crocker can do something miraculously to turn this around. But I think it's a big fight for Ireland. It's a world title fight now as well. This is Boots' belt that's now been vacated, so I think it's a good one.
You cannot miss Vegas. You're going to have a weekend off. You're already on a promise to come with me anyway. So, all right, I'll tell you what to do then, right? DAZN don't need you all week. Come out, do Monday. I'll pay for you to come. Come Sunday to Thursday with me, and then go home on the Friday, and we'll do podcasts from Radio Row all week, because you cannot miss it. It's going to be one of the epic fights in Vegas. By the way,
something special, isn't it?
Who have we got now? Because we've been going back and forth from them.
Oh, I've got Canelo. Sorry. Take it back. I've got Crawford. I made a mistake.
Yeah, but see,
Canelo just came out of my mouth.
Freudian slip there.
No. I've got Crawford.
You were Canelo last time.
I was.
Why is it changed?
Again, because Crawford put out this little reel of him training to rap music, and he looked like an absolute monster. And I was like, oh, he's got serious now. Like, no more jokes, no more being in Turkey, no more traveling the world. We're now training. And he looks beastly. And he's unbeaten. And I think he's going to go down as one of the greats when he does a number on Canelo. So I'm going Crawford.
I'm still edging. Yeah, I do edge in my mind when the silhouette moves. I think Crawford out finagles him. And he avoids him, and he becomes the matador, and he moves with his cape, and he slides around the side. I mean, technically, I think in the world right now, Usyk, Bivol, Crawford, and Shaka Stevenson, probably the top four.
What? Nui?
Yeah, Nui, but I'm just thinking, Bam, yes, but those guys. They could go up and down weight divisions. I mean, Bam and Inui, please soon.
Yeah, sign me up. All right, there you go. Another one in the books. You've been listening to Find It Extra on talkSPORT 2. Big thanks, as always, to Gareth A. Davies for joining me today. Remember, if you've missed any of this show, you can listen to it as a podcast as well. Just find it under the Fight Night banner on the talkSPORT app, on YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts from. We will be back next week.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.